Okay. I'd like to call the meeting of the Madison City Commission to order for August 25th, 2014. Jen, would you take the roll?
Commissioner Corbin?
Here.
Commissioner Johnson?
Present.
Commissioner Wilbur?
Here.
Commissioner Abraham?
Here.
Mayor Lindsay?
Before you have the minutes for August 18th, 2014. Are there any corrections?
Move to approve. Second.
You have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. You have the agenda for August 25th.
Make motion to approve the August 25th agenda.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Under appearances, acknowledgements, and correspondence, we have to acknowledge the quarterly progress report on the pavement management system. Chad?
Yes, thank you. Included in the agenda packet was a quarterly report for our work with South Dakota State University on the pavement management system. What was included was color, but it didn't come out so good in the agenda packet. I can provide those to any of you. The commission's probably seen them, but if anybody from the public would like to look at them, it just summarizes what happened in the second quarter of 2014 for the progress of that project. I won't go through everything in here as it's included in writing, but basically we've had several different meetings with the folks managing the project. They've come to the city and assessed all the segments of the roadway and gave a pavement condition index is a term that's used. There's a few that were missing from this report in this map that you may have observed. I've asked them to come, and they've come and they've collected the rest of those. And so the project is moving along appropriately. It seems to be on schedule. Actually, in this week, in addition to what's in this report, we're accomplishing some additional coring. That was included, the cost for that in the budget to collect some further information so that they can input it into the model. But our staff from my office we released a core drill, 4-inch core drill from Sioux Falls, and we're drilling anywhere. It'll probably be between 40 and 80 holes, and reporting that back, and so that can be worked into this program that we're going to be developing, this pavement management program. So it's going along well.
When are you looking to drill those?
Yeah, it started today.
Started,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. We worked with Public Works to use some of their equipment with a water tank and a generator, and then we had to lease a drill from Sioux Falls, and we got that, and it seems to be going all right. Things went pretty smoothly today.
Good.
Do you need any action on that, Jen?
To acknowledge, please.
I'll make a motion to acknowledge quarterly progress report for pavement management system.
There's a motion and a second to acknowledge the quarterly progress report on the pavement management system. Is there any discussion? Here.
Chad, are you satisfied that things are moving along pretty well?
Yes, we've had a lot of discussion with the principal investigator, who is a professor at SDSU, and much interaction with the interns who are coming in the field and looking at the site. A larger part of this task than probably most would have anticipated was just building a solid GIS database for the city, because quite honestly, the software and the pavement management system doesn't necessarily need. It just needs the input from a database, but we made it a priority, the city did, when we negotiated with them for this, that a key component is that we want them to put a significant amount of effort into making it a good database that we're not only going to use for exporting into this program, but we're going to use it going forward. So that's one of the biggest things I'd report. We've had a lot of iterations back and forth about tweaking that, if you will. So, yeah, short answer, yeah, I'm satisfied.
Thank you.
We have 53 miles of road in Madison.
Yes.
That's incredible.
Any more discussion? All those in favor of acknowledging the report?
Aye.
Aye.
Hey,
Opposed? Motion carried. Now it being 5:35 approximately, we're scheduled to have a hearing upon the application for sale of alcoholic beverage from Madison Brewing Company. Mr. Dowser is here representing them. Any comments you'd like to make on?
Just here to answer any questions you may have.
You will remember that Mr. Delzer was here several weeks ago with a transfer of a license, a liquor license. This is an additional license. It is a packaged liquor, and there is currently only one of those available right now. So he's getting the last one, and this will allow,
This will allow for the sale of a number of different things, but some of the main things we want to do is be able, since we're going to be promoting craft beers, that particular segment of the population also enjoys the use of growlers, which are authorized or allowed by state law if you have an off-sale license to fill growlers, or a pre-designated package with tap beer. It's typically used for beers that are only available in keg form, so.
could you move up to the microphone? I think the mayor's going to want to listen to this tomorrow.
So again, this is, one of the things we do is offer growlers. You know, the state law does allow for growlers to be filled. Typically, people who enjoy craft beers purchase these, bring them in, get them filled with, from the tap. Typically, many of these beers are not available in cans or bottles, so the only way to get them is at an establishment that has an off-sale license that allows this. So that's a big portion of what we'll be doing.
Everything else is all in line, Jen?
yep,
I'll make a motion that we, let's see, we have to close the hearing, is that,
No, just moving your motion will close the hearing.
okay. Moving down to new business one then? Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the packaged liquor license application for the Madison Brewing Company, LLC.
I'll second that.
There's been a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All in favor of approval of the license?
Hey.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Our second item under new business would be discuss waiving the sidewalk requirement request from Design Art for the Madison Central School. Please
Good
in.
evening. My name's Gary Zay. I'm the architect in charge of doing the bus garage for the school. It will be north on 11th there on the north side of the street, just east of Trojan Field. The frontage on this site is about 940-some feet. Basically, there is no sidewalk to the east in front of Trojan Field. Sidewalk ends on the west, or the east side of the site, west side of the site is Trojan Field. There is a sidewalk complete on the south side on both at the high school there and further east. There is none past the high school property on the south side of 11th to the west. The main reason why we're asking for it is the cost of the sidewalk is going to be somewhere between $30,000 and $40,000 for that length, and the budget is very tight for this garage. We're trying to get the buses, move them inside so they don't get weathered and worn so bad.
What is the budget for the bus garage?
Total budget with everything, design fees and the whole thing is $800,000.
But Chad, by ordinance, anytime they build or develop something new, they're supposed to be sidewalk installed, correct?
Yes, yes. There is a clause in the section of the ordinance that basically says sidewalk, it's really short, it's one sentence. Sidewalk placement shall be required with all building permit applications for new construction where side yard and or frontage and gutter exists. So where it fronts a street, and gutter, curb and gutter used simultaneously, interchangeably, where that exists. And so, I've had a chance to visit with Mr. Zay and pointed out that, what is being proposed here would be a building permit on this large parcel, and there is gutter in place, so unless there's some other thing granted, it would be a requirement to put in sidewalk along that frontage.
Yeah, the building isn't gonna generate any pedestrian traffic itself. The building sits 120 feet off the back of the right-of-way, and the driveway and the parking area in front of the building is all gravel.
So there won't even be a sidewalk going to the building.
No.
So you don't anticipate students ever coming over that way to hop in the bus or anything?
Basically, what it is just the bus drivers and the mechanics, okay, would go up there, park their cars, go in the building, take the buses out, go back in their cars and go home. They're not, gonna be loading students there at all or anything like that. So they go ahead and continue to drive the buses down to school, and load up there, drop the kids off and pick them up.
I guess my biggest concern would be is our next actions here are gonna be to assess everyone that we just made put sidewalks in to get students to and from the school. It's my opinion that the school shouldn't be trying to get out of putting in their own sidewalk, would be my opinion.
A lot of the reason we put sidewalk in is to get children to school, and now we're going to talk about letting the school off, putting sidewalk in. Their justifications are there's sidewalk on the other side of the street, and it's a financial burden, but that's what everybody says when they have to put sidewalk in, because nobody wants to put sidewalk in, so that's my feeling anyway.
Chad, how far are we looking at? Are we going all the way from it'd be the DSU practice field, all the way over to, what's the next street? Maple or, just wanna make sure I got exactly.
We're looking from here all the way over to there. And as you can see, there's nothing from this point to that point, there's nothing from here to there,
Yeah.
the corner. There is here and there is all the way across the front there. But that building's gonna sit back in here.
Okay. We run across it and then I always tuck into the trees anyway.
Right.
Right.
Right, but
So they, the building is,
That's 940 some
they would
feet.
have to go all the way across because it would be putting a building
Mhm.
in.
Sidewalk stops there, comes across, down here. There's none across here either.
guess the lack of sidewalks somewhere else has never really slowed down this process anywhere before.
Right.
What,
And because it's not there would be a reason for it not to be installed in front of Trojan Field or somewhere else in the future.
Right, the question you would, continuing from the west edge of the school property going west it would take an action, say by the recommendation probably from the sidewalk committee and then an action by the city commission, proposing or making that part of an assessment process.
the DSU practice field, you mean?
Right, the practice field, because there's up until the what I would refer to as the community center sidewalk, south of the community center, there's a gap between that community center sidewalk and where this tree belt, essentially, there's a large tree belt, you could probably see in that
Mhm.
photo.
The sidewalk stops at the driveway going off of Summit,
Right.
Yeah.
and there's nothing going to the east till you get to David Pitts' property.
Yep.
So you got the whole 3 blocks basically in there that there's no sidewalk.
Take a sidewalk committee recommendation, then. Is that what you're saying, Chad?
If-
That
yeah.
would take a sidewalk.
Well, it could be done in any future sidewalk committee,
Yeah.
Right. The parcel we're talking about today would be,
Right.
what triggers this, I would say per that excerpt from the ordinance I read, would be the building permit. Then it would have it. If anything for the DSU area to the west of that, connecting to the Summit Avenue, I'll call it that, would take action by the commission, which is typically preceded by a recommendation from the sidewalk committee.
But if we don't put it in here now, in the future, it would be harder when it comes, they decide that DSU needs to put theirs in.
Then there'd be
On us-
two large entities, DSU and
Yep,
the
right.
school, and those would be comparable lengths,
And the issue is a little bigger.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. A little bit longer, yeah.
Mhm. But with parking getting tighter and tighter up there, I can't, there are more students parking out there all the time, and I think sidewalk is probably a good idea and probably on the horizon for the whole length of it, I would imagine.
Well, there has been a recommendation in the 1996 comprehensive plan, which sort of started some of the assessment process, the early stages, that recommended that some of the higher priorities that the sidewalk committee and the city in general, the commission, should look towards is around schools. And so that we advise the sidewalk committee of that annually when that discussion comes up for their consideration as they consider routes to recommend to you as the city commission.
And I've seen kids coming from the high school to the community center, even over to the football field. And, they're walking in between all these trees here, and it's kind of a nice, pretty little area to walk through there, right in that area there, but, so they're already coming on that side of the street, so if we had sidewalk, that'd just be even better.
I did have a question. I should have tried to catch Gary before this. When you and I had talked, I had accomplished some measurements using some of the plat information from the county. And is it actually 900 feet, or is it closer to about 675 feet? I thought it was a little less, 675, which at the city's.
They gave me, I've had several ones, the written stuff was 940-some feet. Their other visual one was 872. Until I get I've got a surveyor out there that hopefully this week, we'll get an accurate one on that, but.
And I know like I said, I know we talked about this. I had done some preliminary measuring, and I thought it was a little less, probably more close to 675 or 700 feet, which if you use some of the prices we've got bid recently with a little bit of inflation, that's about $15,000-$16,000. But I know if it's 900, it would probably be closer to the 25,000. And so just to give a context of, it seems to be an unknown right now what the length is or the cost is, if that's a point of
Anywhere
consideration
from
for you.
15 to 25,000 is.
I would
what
say
we're looking at.
that's
We're
correct,
fighting
yeah.
tight, and we're fighting tight budgets on this project, so. That's the other problem.
We did help you out by letting you use the cheaper siding. You're welcome.
Every little bit helps.
You're welcome.
And it's money out of your pocket and mine, so I mean,
Yes. I can't make a motion this evening, correct, David? Since I'm the acting chair.
You should not make a motion as the acting chair.
So, to the rest of you then, what are your wishes?
What do you think about this, Kelly?
I think it's the general consensus of the commission. It seems more, as I listen to it, that we not waive this request. Really. Does that seem to be?
Yeah, I think, when, this was way before I was on commission, but when we did Lincoln Avenue, it was a huge discussion. Well, there's already sidewalk on the other side of the street and all of that. And I'll tell you that, and knowing what else is on the agenda here, but, we filled this room more than a bazillion times over sidewalks. And I am for sidewalks because I think it's makes for a better quality of life in any community, whether people use them or not. As a runner and a cyclist, I don't always use the sidewalks when I'm running because your intersections are where hazards can happen and things, and it's safest to do where I'm at. I've done the research. So, and like I said, I've seen numerous people already walking over there. I think, a sidewalk there going all the way across there would be great, because when they have the pee-wee football or even the high school football, they got that one area that becomes a mud pit where they got everybody drinking water and everything, and it'd be nice for parents to be able to maybe set their chairs up on those sidewalks. So with that, I'll make the motion that we do not waive the sidewalk requirement request.
I'll second that.
It's been a motion made and seconded to not waive the sidewalk requirement. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor of not waiving the requirement, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion is carried, but denied, correct?
Got it.
The next topic, number 3, would be discuss waiving the building permit fee, also on the bus garage.
You waive fees for fees, building permit fees on the other school projects, you've so far, so we're just asking for that to be continued.
And I have been a part of several committees. This is pretty standard
How
that
much
we
is
do
it?
waive them.
What is it gonna be for?
600,000 would be what, about 3,000?
If it was, we have some recent comparison would be, the 800,000 was what, another nonprofit was, and that was about a $3,000 fee. So if it's less than 800,000, it would be less than $3,000 fee.
I'll make a motion that we waive the building permit fee for the Madison Central School District.
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second to waive the building permit fee for the Madison Central School District. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor of waiving the fee, say aye.
Aye.
Aye?
Aye. All those opposed?
Aye.
Thank you.
You bet, thank you.
Motion carried.
Thanks, those helped.
Topic number 4, resolution number 2014-15, direct and set the date of public hearing on assessment roll for sidewalk improvement number 2013-1. Chad?
I can start out by making a few comments. Basically, this is the work that our contractor accomplished in 2013 and the first part of 2014 for the assessments assigned to be completed in 2013 and any repairs assigned to be completed in 2013. The contractor overran a little with time and he had to finish in the spring this year. So there are 3 different areas where the city has incurred costs by our contractor. One would be on West Avenue from 2nd Street to 1st Street, 2nd Street North, or excuse me, 2nd Street North to 1st Street Southwest. Another one was 1st Street Southwest, all the way out going west to near the elevator. And then the other one were the repairs that were accomplished by our contractor for landowners. They're about $10,000 for, I gotta see if this is West Avenue. One was about $10,000, one was about $10,000, one was about $20,000, and the other one was,
22.
what's that?
22.
22. So we're looking at 52,000 or so that would be recouped through the assessment process. So my understanding of the law is I create an assessment roll after the contractor accomplishes it. We paid him, we have done that, we've paid him, and then I file that with the finance officer, And then Jen and I did that on the 13th of August, and then there's a process triggered by that and outlined in state law where they go through the actual process of assessing. And that's, I believe this is the first step.
Right, this simply begins the assessment process.
Right.
On all three of these projects. Required to set a date of hearing that is the same in all three of these resolutions, scheduled for the 15th of September at 5:35.
You said September 15th?
Yep,
Separate motions on each of them?
please.
I'll make a motion that we set the hearing date for September 15th for resolution number 2014-15 and the assessment roll for sidewalk improvements number 2013-1.
I'll second that.
There's been a motion made and seconded to set date for public hearing on resolution number 2014-15 for September 15th at 5:35. Is there any more discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion carried. Resolution number 2014-16, direct and set date of public hearing on assessment rolls for sidewalk improvement 2013-2.
So moved.
Okay.
Second.
Been a motion made and seconded to direct and set date of public hearing for September 15th at 5:35 for assessment roll for sidewalk improvement 2013-2. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Resolution number 2014-17, direct and set date of public hearing on assessment roll for sidewalk repair improvement number 2013-3.
So moved.
Second.
There's been a motion made and seconded to set date of public hearing for September 15th at 5:35 on assessment roll for sidewalk repair improvement 2013-3. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. New business number 7, authorize the mayor to sign assignment of lease for Lidl/Makenda LLC for the Madison Airport hangar lease. This is basically, Lidl's have sold their hangar, and as they don't actually own the property, it's leased from the airport and the airport board. We have to reassign the lease. The terms don't change, but are subject to any changes by the airport board or the FFA, and that's all spelled out in the contract. So basically, they've already sold it. This is just us approving the new owners of the lease or transferring the lease on paper.
Make a motion that we authorize the mayor to sign agreement of the lease from Lidl/Makenda LLC.
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second to authorize the mayor to sign the assignment of lease at the Madison Airport. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. And then you have some personnel matters before you.
I'll make a motion to accept the personnel matters.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the personnel as presented. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Seeing no announcements or other business, we are subject to adjournment with a short budget meeting to follow.
So move.
Second.
All those in favor of adjournment, say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.